Congestive heart failure is a condition where the heart is no longer pumping effectively, and it leads to fluid buildup either in the lungs or in the belly or occasionally around the heart itself, depending on where the problem is within the heart. Congestive heart failure is a pretty common disease that we see, especially in older, small breed dogs, but it can happen in any breed of dog or cat. A lot of times we're seeing this more in specific breeds due to genetics. So this is something that's passed down through bloodlines, and unfortunately something we see way more common in different breeds for that reason. If a pet's coming in and we think they may have congestive heart failure, some of the big things we're gonna look for is, one, on exam, we're gonna hear heart murmur, which is basically you can hear the backflow of the blood. Sounds kind of like a swishing sound in the heart. And they're often gonna come in with some degree of respiratory distress or coughing or like congested sounding lungs, either externally or often definitely when we listen with a stethoscope, we'll hear what's called crackling in the lungs. Patients will often also have a history of either coughing, exercise intolerance, maybe some weight loss, and often we do see this a good bit in patients that have a history of tracheal collapse as well. The biggest thing that we're gonna want at some point would be an ultrasound of the heart called an echocardiogram. This is gonna help try to diagnose what actually caused the heart failure, and the way that we'll go about doing that is having our radiologist do the echocardiogram so that we can help add any additional medications we may need. So once a pet's been diagnosed with congestive heart failure, some of the things that we're gonna do to try to keep them as comfortable as possible, one, we're gonna make sure that they go into a special oxygen cage so that they can breathe as easily as they possibly can while we're trying to remove the fluid from their lungs. We'll give them sedatives if they need it. Again, not because we want them to be knocked out, but we just want them to be as relaxed and comfortable as possible because that's only gonna help their breathing. So really the big thing with these guys is helping them breathe easy and helping them be as stress-free as possible. Treatment of congestive heart failure, the level of aggression we have to have with these patients kind of also depends on what the pet looks like when they come in. But most of these patients, treatment-wise, are going to need oxygen therapy if they are in respiratory distress, and then also getting them on a dose of a drug called Lasix or furosemide, which is a diuretic. And what that does is it helps remove the fluid from their lungs. Unfortunately, congestive heart failure is not a curable disease. Like, we can't take back what's causing it, in most cases at least, but we can very well manage it, meaning we can slow down the progression. Many animals, dogs and cats, can have excellent quality of life once they're well managed for their heart disease. We can definitely give these guys a really good quality of life and a long time in most cases.